Greetings and welcome to the Hamptons. My name is Sandra K. It is my great pleasure and honor to introduce you to my guest today, Tina Toulon. Tina is the Executive Director of the New York Cancer Foundation. She brings a wealth of knowledge, leadership, and compassion to this wonderful organization. Welcome, Tina.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm really thrilled to be here.
It's my pleasure. This is great. Tina, I'd like to start by asking you to share with us a little bit about your background, sales, marketing, healthcare, that has led to your position as an executive director.
So it was a little bit of a journey and a career path that really led me to being able to help people. In my background in business, I did sales and marketing. I had my own company for a short time.
What was that?
It was a media company.
Okay.
And we did direct marketing, both online and offline. So I learned a lot about relationships
Okay.
and about getting messages out to people, and in a for-profit way.
Yes.
So I always knew I wanted to be in healthcare, and a lot of it is because of things that happened in my life.
Well, I was going to transition into that you have been touched by cancer.
Yes.
By loved ones, very
Yes.
close loved ones in your life. How has that, along with your background in healthcare, expanded your journey?
So I always knew I wanted to get into the healthcare space, but I'm not a doctor, not a nurse, not clinically. I just wanted to be in the space. And when I moved to Long Island and got connected with New York cancer and blood specialists, I was hired as a physician liaison. And
what is a physician liaison?
I didn't know either at the time.
Okay.
And two words very hard to spell. It is a connection between the referring physicians and, in this case, oncology offices.
Okay.
So, not being in healthcare, I just thought you set up your doctor's office and people come. But it isn't really necessarily like that because it's all based on referrals and relationships.
Okay.
So that happened to be something I was good at, building relationships. And as a physician liaison, being in the oncology business, I was volunteering at the New York Cancer Foundation. And through these events, I was like, this is fantastic. This is where I want to be. And when the opportunity came up to run the foundation, luckily they offered to me, and I was thrilled. It's really a privilege.
Yes.
To be able to.
How many years are you the executive director now?
3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
Okay. And can you share with us the mission of the New York Cancer Foundation?
The mission of the New York Cancer Foundation is to help cancer patients throughout the state of New York that are struggling financially. And we help them not with their medical bills, we help them with their household bills, meaning we help them with rent. We help keep their lights on by paying utilities. We help with their car payment. We supply a food gift card, a $400 food gift card at the Stop and Shop or Whole Foods near them. And we also supply transportation to and from their treatments with Uber Health.
Yes. So how does Uber Health actually work? What is the process for that, for the patient and
So it's actually a one-to-one. We have to call every time they need a ride. So for every person that needs a ride, they have they call us for a ride there, and then when
do they
they're
have a
done.
schedule?
Sometimes, but in oncology, sometimes you don't. It's all of a sudden. So sometimes we can plan it out, and sometimes not. But because of this, there's a lot of speaking on the phone with our patients.
Well, that's probably very helpful.
It is, and we get to know them,
That's right.
and they get to know us. So it's a very personal thing we do. And we love it that way. We get to know Mr. Smith, and we address them all, Mr. Smith, Mrs. Anderson. They deserve that respect.
And in terms of receiving grants, there is an application online that families can apply for, an individual can apply for.
Yes.
That will be reviewed by your staff and determined if
Yes.
they qualify.
And all the guidelines are right online, and it's not very difficult. We try to make it as easy as possible. and, they have to make below a certain amount in income. So for example, a family of one has to net below, I believe it's 58,000 a year. It's 400% to poverty level. We follow the guidelines. And liquid assets of 12,500 or less.
Okay.
And really supplying us with 2 months of bank statements, a license. So we're not asking for tax returns, we're not asking for a lot of pieces of paper. We really want to help.
Okay.
So we try to make it as easy as possible while following the guidelines.
Well, having said that, I think we're going to take a look at the video from 2023 at one of your galas, one of your big fundraisers, so we can see what the organization does in help and healing. Let's take a look.
I really have to say, I am unbelievably humbled by what we have here tonight. Our journey with the New York Cancer Foundation has been nothing short of remarkable. I can't believe we have so many people who actually can't come in because they can't get to our office, they can't afford to pay their bills. They're stuck in this situation where they actually have to choose between their health care and feeding their family.
When I think about New York Cancer Foundation, I think about hope and healing. And this was the largest financial blessing that I received during my treatment. So I'm so grateful to New York Cancer Foundation for that. Thank you so much.
I, like so many people in the world, have been unfortunately affected by cancer, multiple members of my family. So when I was asked to be a part of this and to photograph some of your extraordinary, amazing doctors, it was an absolute privilege.
When you lose control of where you're going to be treated, how are you going to be treated, who's going to pay for it, and right now that's the life that we live in, and why everything that you all do, everything that I try to coach is for patients. And as Jeff knows, and I've said, the day that this stops being about patients, I will go into the sunset.
Tonight, as we celebrate our foundation's efforts, let's also celebrate each other, our collective power to bring hope into the lives of those affected by cancer, and the bright future that lies ahead. Together, our hope truly grows here.
That is truly beautiful.
Thank
That is
you.
absolutely beautiful. How many patients would you say you helped this year in 2023?
Last year, we helped about 527 families. I call them families because
Okay.
for every patient we help, we think about it in terms of helping the family.
Okay.
So this year, we've already helped that many, and we still have 3 months to go. We'll probably help about 775 families this year.
Fantastic.
Throughout
And
New
I
York.
read that you provided 2,540 Uber rides
Yes.
to these patients.
Yes, one call at a time.
Yes.
So, and we do heavily help throughout Suffolk and Nassau County, into Queens. The island is where we started, so we help a lot of patients on Long Island, but we do right into the Bronx, New York City, and now throughout New York State,
Fantastic.
all the way up to Rochester, from Niagara Falls to Montauk in Brooklyn.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Talk to us about your volunteers.
Sure, they are a vital part of what we do. Our staff, this is all done, that gala, everything we do is 5 people. And that,
Incredible.
yes, we have 3 people reviewing applications and scheduling Ubers and ordering gift cards and things like that. And then Kylie and I are doing events.
Is this full-time or
Yeah, these are staff.
staff? Okay.
So those are the staff that we have full-time working on this. And then all the rest of the help is volunteers.
And they help with the events?
Right, for example, the gala. That was at the Ziegfeld Ballroom. We had 450 of our friends there.
That is great,
And it takes a village to put it together.
I'm sure.
Because we're very conscious of cost, and every penny, every dollar is so important. So our volunteers help us set up and, act as, check-in, and they help us all throughout, cleaning up after. And through all our events through the year, and we have about 15 of them.
Yes.
They are a vital part of those events and helping us.
Sure, I was going to ask you, I mean, that's how you're raising your funds.
Exactly.
And I did happen to see one video that I loved on hockey, where one of the oncologists who always dreamed of being a hockey player.
Yeah, Dr. Eventer.
Yes, and he saw Hockey for Hope, and he immediately signed up and said, this is incredible, I've got to do this. And of course, he was able to bring his family and friends, and all of that is how more and more people are involved, and more revenue is generated.
Exactly. And, the more fans you have and the more community involvement you have, and that's really what we try and do. The community is so important to us in terms of helping, those patients
Yes.
in the community, as well as raising money.
Right.
And it doesn't matter if you gave us $50 or $5,000. All very, very important. And Dr. Evento, a perfect example, oncologist, his son plays on the team.
Oh, that's great.
We compete against the sheriff's office, which is
Yes.
near and dear to my heart. And again, like my husband, part of my why.
I mean, that is quite a story. I don't know if you
Absolutely,
would like to share about your husband. It's a beautiful story. It's a miracle. Really.
So yes, he is a miracle. My husband is Sheriff Toulon, the sheriff of Suffolk County, and also a hockey player.
Okay.
He is now a 3-time cancer survivor. He survived lymphoma and then pancreatic cancer. So he's a 21-year pancreatic cancer survivor.
That is tremendous.
And he also just fought skin cancer. So
Has any doctors asked to study him? Just curious on genetics or how he managed
yet.
to beat it.
not yet.
Knock wood,
He had the Whipple procedure.
Okay.
Which they go in, it's a 10-hour, in those days, 21 years ago, a 10-hour operation, where they do, it's a serious operation, and they take out a lot of the area near the pancreas while leaving the pancreas. And they found it so early and completely by accident that he is now a miracle.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, and healthy and doing great. So
And when's the hockey tournament? The Hockey for Hope?
So Hockey for Hope is in May, so it's
Okay.
every May.
Every May.
And they count on it. They take it seriously.
And is that open to more and more people, or is it just the 2 teams, the sheriff?
Oh, we'll play other people. We just haven't, because they're busy, conquering cancer on the side, so they don't have much time to train.
Okay, great.
But
Well, I'll let people
absolutely.
know. I mean, that's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So he's one of my whys.
Yes.
And my other why is my dear friend, my best friend, one of my best friends.
Childhood friend?
Actually, I met her daughter and my daughter became friends.
Okay.
And we were neighbors, so we bonded. And she ended up getting diagnosed with ovarian cancer. And she was a very senior level at a pharmaceutical company, the irony of that. And she fought, and she was the cheerleader. She wore the hat. She organized walks, and we're gonna get through this, and
She's a
fight.
fighter.
She was a fighter. And so towards the end of her care, she was in hospice, and she gave me her journal. And I said, "Why are you giving me that?" And she said, she was feisty. We actually had a hashtag for her, Forever Feisty. she said, well, I want you to cross out the bad stuff I wrote because I don't want anybody to see it. Some of the family members, and I'm like, okay, are you sure? She goes, yeah. So I took it, and I felt kind of funny crossing out in somebody's journal. And as I'm reading the journal, which she wanted me to do, I was like, oh my gosh, she was so scared. It was through her eyes, her writing, the very personal writing. She was so frightened, and she never let it show. And
But she wanted you to know.
She wanted
you
me to
how
know.
she really felt.
And here's a woman with the means
Yes.
to get the best care. She was a Dana-Farber, and yet, I think now of all the people we help that don't have means. So not only are they worried, they can't sometimes get to their chemo appointment, let alone, and that older
Think about
gentleman
how- yes.
on the video, he retired at 65 like everybody's supposed to do, thinking he had enough money. He became a widower, and then he got diagnosed with cancer, and he ran out of money. He didn't expect to live to 90, and so we ended up helping him. So that was a big why for me.
Sure. Major impact.
Yeah, and thinking somebody, even with the means to be able to take care of everything, money-wise, it doesn't take away the fear.
Right. And
And,
talk about bravery and courage on the outside.
right,
I mean,
Yep.
that's quite special.
and today is my mother's anniversary of her passing.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. And my brother passed on August 20th.
Oh, my.
Just this year. So it is,
Wow.
it is part of all of our journeys,
Mhm.
mine included. And which is why, we fight every day to help them, calling for grants and funding.
Well, I've also read that when they speak of you personally, they say that your statement is "be the light."
Yes.
And that's such a beautiful thing. Share with us how, through all of this that you've been affected by, you keep going and you keep sharing positivity and hope, and you are a light. You're a light for everyone. You're a light for the organization. You're a light for everyone that you meet. Talk to us about that.
Thank you. That's probably the best compliment I could get, actually. I really feel that we are, the message that we give. And it only takes, it's that candle in the darkness. And at one gala, we actually had them turn off all the lights, and everybody had a little flashlight at their table. And we just asked one person at the table to put their flashlight on. And it illuminated more than just their area. It illuminates a whole bigger area. So that is how we hope to touch at New York Cancer Foundation, not just me, it takes a team.
Sure.
And how everyone you touch will touch another.
That's beautiful.
And even with Lexi, who I was telling you before, she was a grant recipient a few years ago, and now she gives back.
Yes.
And you just never know who you're helping. And so I think it's important to just kind of maintain that feeling, that mantra, because you just never know who you're talking to.
Right. And how it's going to affect them and spread the word.
Yes,
And spread the positivity and the hope, which is what the organization is all about.
yes.
I did read also in lieu of the holidays now that you have a adopt a family. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, that's another wonderful thing. Again, I'll repeat myself that it is a privilege to do what I do. I meet amazing people. We raise money for different patients that we serve at the New York Cancer and Blood Specialist. And through our foundation, we call them and say, you were chosen by Nurse, Smith as one of our families that we want to help. Tell me what your Christmas list is.
Isn't that great?
And they give us the list, or it might be just one gift card, whatever it is. But very often, they want slippers and a robe and jeans, and
They just want to feel cozy and
Right.
comfortable and warm and safe.
right. And they want a present.
And they
I mean,
want
they want to open something.
something,
Yeah,
right.
it's lovely. And these families we end up getting to know, year by year. And I think probably one of the harder parts is we'll be talking to somebody on a Monday, but they won't be there on Friday. And that does happen. And that is the reality sometimes of what we do.
How do you manage that personally? I mean,
So,
and those in the organization, because
Yeah.
I'm sure you're all affected by it.
we are, it's important to take a minute because you have to
Okay.
feel your feel, and then like we all talk about it. Like sometimes, we'll have a favorite. Oh, Mrs. Smith, and we'll have a favorite, and then Mrs. Smith isn't there next year, and we'll talk about it and
Okay.
know that it's part of what we do and take a minute. And we have to, sometimes regroup
Sure.
but then in the next minute, somebody's sending a beautiful card with a sunflower on it that says, "Thank you, you made my day, I'm in remission."
Oh, yes. And it touches you and makes you feel everything that you're doing is so worthwhile.
Yeah.
Which it truly is.
Yes, or they'll send a little gift or they'll knit us some hats or something. And then the people that donate to us, not just money, but sometimes they'll donate walkers and wheelchairs and
Oh,
and
okay.
wigs, things that are really expensive, that we don't think about, how much a wig is. And for sometimes for women, it's the thing that makes them feel a little more normal. And
Sure. That's great. I've also read that the companies, employers will match donations that employees might give to the foundation, and thereby you might be doubling the revenue that you're receiving.
that's so smart of you to say, because double the donation is exactly that. And
Right.
it's online, and if your company, you'll be surprised. So many companies will match up to a certain amount.
That's
So if
wonderful.
your $10 is $20, and that is, there's so much unused money for that. So when anybody's making a donation, go online, check double the donation, check your company.
Okay.
Because it can be matched.
Sure. Very nice. And some of the other upcoming, what could we expect in terms of sponsorships and other galas? Like I know that there are hockey events, there are, we talk hockey, golf and marathons.
Yeah, so we do all of those things. Sometimes they're expected, but
Okay.
people enjoy them, and I love our events. And I like to create an event where somebody wants to come back.
Okay,
So
great.
so not only, I mean, a lot of senior people, chiefs and things like that, they go to a lot of galas. There's so many great charity organizations. So if they're gonna be at mine, I'd like them to have a good time, which is why we partnered with Nigel Barker and tried to create an experience.
And you also gave some recognition through the art magazine, Art Bottega.
Yes,
Yes, which is a
exactly.
beautiful magazine.
Beautiful.
And of course, he's a phenomenal photographer, so.
Exactly, and by collaborating, we kind of spread it out a little bit on sometimes the advertising that we're getting, which is great, the more donors. So going back to your question, we just had our gala on October 18th, again at the Ziegfeld, and it was absolutely beautiful. And then we do a golf tournament every year. We collaborate with Run the Vineyards at Pindar Vineyards.
Fantastic.
There's 3 runs a year there. We are working with St. John's University. They're doing a turkey trot
Oh,
in
that's
November
terrific.
where
How
we get the
nice.
proceeds.
That's clever, that's new,
Yeah,
right?
that's
Yeah.
new.
Okay.
We do a Great Gatsby event, which
And
is
when does that happen?
that's at Oheka Castle, March 28th.
Okay,
So
I'll keep that in
think
mind. That's a lot of.
Gatsby and Oheka, it was tons of
Sure.
fun.
I'm sure everybody has a great time getting dressed up
Yeah,
and.
and Amazon should send me a thank you note. Everybody bought their outfits on
Oh,
Amazon.
that's great, that's great.
So we try to make a fun event and a fundraiser. So, if we're raising money 100,000 at a time, we need to get to 2 million by the end of the
Sure,
year
and
now.
I've read that you've raised almost 3 million.
Yep,
This year.
exactly.
Kudos to you, that's
Thank you.
wonderful.
Thank you.
I just want to take a moment to say that it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And in lieu of that, we urge everyone to go out. Women, please have your mammographies, aid in your own prevention. And we
100%.
want to thank Tina for being here with us today and sharing her story.
Thank you so much.
And for all you do for all the New York Cancer Foundation does. We truly thank you. We also thank our staff here at LTV and our Kate Cassidy Foundation. And I'd say the message would be to raise hope
Mhm.
and to be the light.
To be the light, yes.
And anything lastly you might like to share with us today, Tina?
Just that you don't have to give a lot in order to make a difference.
Okay,
So give what you can when you can.
very nice. And we will look out for all of your events. And
Thank you.
we wish you and the organization the best of luck.
Thank you for
It's
having me.
noble, and thank you.
Thank you so much, Sandra.
Thank you.